Today I'm at White Rock Lake in Dallas, and I'm here to talk to you about another watch by Orient. Now, I've already done one review of an Orient, so I won't talk too much about the company. Instead, I'll throw up a link to that review. But I will say that I have come to understand why people truly love this Japanese company, that they really do give you the best bang for your buck. And I don't think any other watch that they have does this as much as the Orient Bambino. The Bambino line is probably the best entry-level dress watch on the market today. It takes a reliable in-house automatic movement from Orient and pairs it with a style that is simple and classic. It has an excellent fit and finish and tops that off with a beautiful domed crystal. All of this for a watch that you should be able to find for around $150. Now, before we go too far, one thing I should mention is that there is some confusion in the naming system of the Bambino line. When you look at Bambinos, you will see the watches referred to as having both a version and a generation. I'll throw a link below which references a website which can probably explain it a lot better than I can, but I will give it a shot. When you see the version of Bambino, it's more about the visual style than anything else. Here are some examples of each version of the Bambinos. Version 1 is a more simplified classic dress watch. Version 2 adds Roman numerals and a minute indicator dial on the outside, and gives it more of a retro pocket watch kind of design. Version 3 is more modern and simplified, done in a Bauhaus design style. And version 4 is similar to version 1, but has a slightly larger case. Recently, Orient released a new version of the Bambino. This is the Bambino Small Seconds, which takes the second hand and moves it to a small subdial. Now, most versions of the Bambinos also have two different generations. Generation 1 having an older but still reliable good movement. The newer ones are the second generation, and they're very similar movements, except the second generation gives it the ability of hacking and hand winding. Now, the specific watch that we are looking at here today is a version 2 Generation 2 Bambino. Now let's take a closer look at the watch itself. First off, you can see that it is a stainless steel case, and the finish is very nice. The front and the back are polished, with the side having more of a brushed finish, giving it a nice two-tone effect. This is then complemented by an onion-shaped crown at the 3 o'clock position, which adds to the vintage aesthetic, giving the watch an almost vintage pocket watch look. Now, the dial is described as white, but to me it's more of an off-white, or like an eggshell coloring. And it has this very beautiful satin-like sheen to it that reflects the light just slightly. You can also see the Orient logo which is applied. Now, on this model, the hands are rose gold, as well as the hour indicators. The hour indicators are Roman numerals, and tilting it you can see that they're slightly raised, meaning it's applied. Complementing the dial is a black ring on the outside with minute indicators. Now, Orient refers to this as a train track chapter ring. But to me, it reminds me more of a old school dial gauge. And like most dress watches, there is no lume applied to the Bambino. The watch comes with a dark brown leather strap, which is nice. It's about what you'd expect at this price, but it's nothing really special. But it does have a signed buckle. Now, I didn't quite like that watch strap, so I swapped it to this one, which has more of a reddish brown. Now, turning the watch over, you can see that it does not have an exhibition case back. It's closed. And it's nothing particularly special, but it does have the Orient logo on it. And last but not least, the watch is both hackable and hand winding, which is something that all the second generation Bambinos are. Something I wish most Seiko 5s would have at this price. Now, as for accuracy, I don't exactly know what Orient considers as spec, but I personally have found that this watch to be about 4 seconds fast, which is pretty good. Now, let's get some quick dimensions of the watch. The width of the watch is about 40.5 millimeters without the crown. With the crown, it's about 43. Lug to lug is 43.5, and 21 millimeter strap length, which is a little odd. The watch is about 12 millimeters tall, but most of that is because of the dome. Here's some footage of the Bambino on my wrist. It's definitely large compared to traditional dress watches, but I don't mind it. In fact, I actually really like it. Looking at the watch, you can tell the lugs are a little small compared to the rest of the watch. Some people might find this offsetting, but I really like it because to me, the dial itself is the true star of this watch. Now, I'm just going to tell you that I really do love this watch. I love the domed crystal, it gives it that great retro vintage styling, yet the watch itself is of contemporary size. It has a great fit and finish, especially for this price. I love the shimmer of that off-white dial, it really catches the sun sometimes. It has a great price as well, a watch this good should really cost twice as much. Now, what I really love about this watch is the black outer ring with the minute indicators, what I believe Orient calls the train track chapter ring. Now, that may be kind of counterintuitive as this is a dress watch and a lot of people would probably think that it clutters up the dial. But for me, it gives it something special, almost field-esque, kind of like some of the Hamiltons. And I just love that gauge kind of look to it, especially when you turn the watch at an angle and you just happen to catch the side of the crystal and get a little bit of magnification going on that ring. There are only two bad things that I can say about the Bambino. The first is the strap, and it's not that it's a bad strap, it's the size of it. It's 21 millimeters, which is a bit of an odd size, and finding aftermarket straps can be challenging. Although I should point out that the version 4 Bambinos have a 22 millimeter strap. The only other thing I don't like is the subpar water resistance, which I believe is about 30 meters. But this is a dress watch, so you really shouldn't go swimming with it. Now, as of filming this, there are about 10,000 reviews on YouTube already of the Orient Bambino, so obviously I'm not the only one who appreciates this watch. Now, are there better watches out there? Sure there are. But are there any watches that are better at this price point? Not that I know of. In fact, if the Seiko SNK line is the best entry-level automatic, then this is the best entry-level dress watch. I simply love this watch, and I can't recommend it enough. If the version 2 doesn't fit your style, then check out the other versions. To put it simply, if you're in the market for a new dress watch and you don't want to spend a lot, there isn't a question of which watch you should look at, but rather which Bambino is your favorite. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe.